Welcome to October Gestalt Poetry Open Mic. Thank you all for being here. It's so good to see everybody. We're blessed to be with each other when the world is on fire, a balance tipping, we hope, toward greater freedoms worldwide. This is a safe space, so please give trigger warnings if that's applicable, and we're free to speak our truths here, even if we don't agree. We are off for the holidays in November and December, but we're back in January with a fresh slate of feature poets. You can sign up for my newsletter at my website, which is amyhoskins.com, and please visit the writing section for events and publications. You can also find us on Facebook. Now I want to welcome our feature poet, Noah Levin. Noah is a New York City born poet, writer, and harmonica player who co-runs the interactive project, The Sun Poem, and the 360-degree virtual reality open mic series, The Most Hated Poets. For 12 years, he co-ran the infamous New York City-based poet collective, The Buffalo Readings, who stretched their roots from New York City to the West Coast. Noah had featured residencies at the Bowery Poetry Club, the Gathering of the Tribes Gallery, the Oxford University Press Blog, the former Bronx activist squat Casa del Sol, and a series of jazz poetry rent parties that was featured in the Wall Street Journal. Noah has also been featured nationwide, including at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, in video, on the radio dial, in a museum bathtub, in the woods, and out on the street. Please welcome Noah Levin.
Oh, wow. Thank you all. So first of all, I don't know about where everybody else is. It's a beautiful day today. So I don't know what's happening in all of your lives. And, some of us sometimes, sometimes life kind of, it rocks a lot. And, some days are beautiful and we're energized and go out there, and other days it's just impossible to even get out of your bed. So you just kind of lie there like, oh, it's safe here. If I don't get out, nobody can touch me. So thank you all for being here. No matter where you are in this world, it's wonderful. So I'm just gonna dive right into this. This is called Toil. Serfs' freedom of choice from medieval days to modern days. $1 and a pound of flesh battered for the rich. What do you need when you got everything? Look down your nose and see the plate of no one. 99% worthless rats toiling away years, grayed-haired, black-lunged, fight for basic essentials, just want food, pay my rent, student loans and homes that you can't afford for a life's toil. Workers' arms pull the levers of the machine. Its bloodthirsty gears eats your dreams, eats your life. Watch the one man above sit in his chair and look down. You're worthless unless you give your soul. Not enough, not enough. Profit lines need to be increased. Stock shares inflated. The stockholders are better than you. What are you worth? I once had the president of my company send me a letter telling me I had no right to a livable wage. That fucker told me it was a fantasy because the many took a stand and demanded basic worth. Work your whole life racing short of the bottom line. Find yourself chewed up and left for nothing. 100 years, 200 years, 500 years in the blink of an eye. Generation after generation, and the robber barons have been crowned kings. Keep the masses scattered by piece or bullet. Give everyone an extra penny and some dumb fuck entertainment to your will to fight is bled out. Watch your replacements sprout from your fertilized will, slowly walking in pace towards the machine. Cars were passed towards the grind, passive faces packed as cattle, and the trains headed to clock in for another day. The ad tells you you could be sipping wine and eating caviar, driving the newest car. And watch your voice be silenced. Watch your voice be silenced. Watch your voice be silenced. You're worthless. You're nothing. Be happy for what you have. My rent is due every time the canary sings. And this is called Techno Insta Society, or the Disjointed Union. What is it you wanted to say? 1,000 voices joined into disunion. Nothing for today, no meat on the table, no voice on the radio. Reviews and self-satisfaction scream in millions of digital voices. Blog your thoughts. Be the generation of me. Be the generation that fell into nostalgic dream. Pillows of yesterday suffocate voice. Disjointed approval lays the land bare. Entertainment available to everyone, but the food on my table costs more than I can pay. Blood for blood. Will slides away into happiness. Let me view yesterday on my computer again, and I'll inject the internet into my veins. Doped up cyber dreams glazes will to do anything. Say our independence all together now. Agree on nothing or settle for self-serving slaps on back. Grassroots points to aimless wanderings. Don Quixote says, sign up, sign up. Foreign rules into clamor, pit of millions where none rise to the top. World collapse and we can read about it on the AP Wire and Minute News. Watch instantaneous knee-jerk reaction. Long-term goals no longer exist. Voice no longer exists. A scream amongst a million doesn't exist. Placation is supreme. Digitalize your nostalgia. Who are we? And then, let's not do that yet. Let's do this. This is called Create Art Splatter. I want to see the world consumed by my insatiable appetite. I want to see the ravages of my thoughts stirred into your coffee, black instead of milk or cream. I want to see my tears plastered on the walls of an art gallery, and you can point and you can hem and you can haw and you can tell everyone just how cool you are. Declare the vintage of what I cried. I'll bleed for you when I write my thoughts, and hopefully someone will casually find inner beauty in their day. Cross your legs where you sit and lift your glass fine and dandy. What do you have for me today? Doesn't matter. Silence drips through these days, and outbursts of intellect shatter the serenity of the dull veneer. I'll spill everything I got. Etchings carved into table. We can call it art. This is called A True Story of My Youth. Many years ago, down at the crossroads on a dusty road, the devil had come to collect his due. Son, he said, we've danced the dance of the damned many a year, and I've always been with you through the good and the bad. Now you've turned your back on the others, and the time has come. Oh, the time has come. Well, the sun settled back into the night as the twilight shrouded the road before me, and my shadow fell long and wide into the great unknown. I squinted hard at that imposing figure in front of me as that demonic friend, that great evil fiend that allowed me to lean upon his shoulder for so long, pulled out a piece of parchment and told me it was time for me to sign. I looked hard, I did. No, I won't lie, I looked hard. The terms were those I had written in my own hand, and I looked back at the barren wasteland I had left as a prideful blight behind, and we both knew I couldn't go back. I looked ahead, and the road looked worse because it didn't lie. Oh no, it didn't lie. So I looked inside, and I knew what I had to do. I looked the devil in the eye, and I said, devil, I don't need you. Well, that evil friend of mine looked at me with the look of one who's seen the fool of fools and laughed his laugh until it rang off the land for 1,000 miles. And he said, boy, you're a fool. No one says no now. I'm all you have, and the road ahead can't be walked alone. You need me or the road will be your death. Now I knew what he said was the truth, but I searched inside and I summed up my strength. Oh, I summed up my strength and I said, devil, You could take your contract and you could take your pitchfork and you could shove them both up your demonic ass. Because I'd rather die alone than keep going with the likes of you. And so I wrested my tattered soul from the clutches of the devil. And with the tip of my hat and my suitcase in my hand, I departed down that treacherous road. Because if I don't have God and I've told off the devil, then I'll do it alone with no regrets. No regrets. All right, let's change volumes. This is called Sleeping In. And by the way, if you can't relate to some need for that title, I just don't know what to tell you in life. Coffee clutched with edge of desperation at 7 p.m. and Coltrane has become my only salvation while the sun still creeps through my closed curtain cracks. Only tired is on my breath, and even a homeless guy would tell me he could smell it. Evidently, the stench of weary can get me a seat on the subway if I were disposed to leave the closed fortress of my home. Lounging, and I'm starting to saturate in myself. Another round of coffee is on the wind. I'm about as useful as a piece of acne to society at large. If the grocery store was closer than 2 blocks away, I might stock up on provisions. But even that dream has played itself off into the winds of gone and forgotten. My TV and radio become my only friends. But even they seem to hold a certain amount of hostility to me, as they're obviously holding back the best they could offer. Outside, I hear voices of productivity, but I just can't get my head around the angle they're coming from. Productivity would mean I have to put on pants. And that's energy I'm saving up for a blowout burst of ordering in dinner. Play on, Coltrane, play on. Preacher man has reached for the jugular in his evangelical preach of jazz, and it's the one thing that's touched my soul on my day of May. When I'm done soaking myself in my own uninspired spirit, I'll be sure to give you a call tomorrow. This is called At the Waverly, which is, those that don't know it, it's an old school diner that's over down in the West Village, and it's been there longer than I've been here. Glazed pastries on display, catching my eye, steaming plates of nourishment race back in the blink of an endless cups of coffee, always refilling, cannot stop the insatiable thirst for caffeine, cannot stop the happiness in the bottom of, happiness in the sip of, happiness in the steam rising. Milkshakes if you want, eggs if you want, anything if you want, desire met, burgers saturated in the grease of the times, shoot the shit till the break of dawn, sit alone, ponder life, write a poem, sip my coffee, contentment, contentment, I whisper your name, all night diner. And then, all right, so I'm gonna do this. Anybody's heard me read in like the last year, you probably heard this piece because it's a very personal piece to me and means a lot to me. So much so it invokes an artist I just invoked in the press, in my past poem. But I think over the last couple of years, I'd like to think that we're all still thankful to be here, thankful for those that are in our lives still, and also think and remember a lot that those that aren't. So I want to give this poem to those that we still remember, that are close to our hearts, that maybe we still don't talk to. And this was a piece I got asked to write a tribute to John Coltrane's Love Supreme, and I really was, I didn't know what to do about that, because like, oh man, that's like one of the great albums. But in a moment of personal turmoil, I managed to write this. So this is called Tragedy Rebirth, a Love Supreme tribute. Turbulent tidings, provoked mind, wind gusts in past tense, old friends and tragedy wind howls, rattles souls, wide brushstroke screaming pain splatters across horizon, eyes wide, transfixed, searing, tears distort. Old days blow, memories, 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 my mind in erratic, jagged thoughts of past. You don't expect tragedy. You don't expect to lose friends or father to cancer. You don't expect 9/11 to destroy your job. I wanted to keep my memories untarnished, matted and tacked onto my wall. Every thought is agony moving forward. Culmination storm, pushing, pulling on my morbid little mind. Saxophone plays, crash. Slowly built totem of self comes cataclysmically down. Shattered thoughts, shattered being of past. Today is thunderstorm of clear skies of yesterday. But that rhythm is playing. Snap fingers, clear mind, feel, cry, combustion of soul. Make it all stop. No! Tense rapture, summarization of self, deep sigh, let go of lost friends, of tragedy, of missteps, of discordant breathing. Death falls from fingertips. Can you hear that saxophone, god damn it, playing over the swirling storm as daylight sears, bringing tears from past, and now it's in your every breath, every second of your being. A love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme. Tomorrow forces way into lungs, and it's fucking beautiful. Watch withered flesh of yesterday peel from soul. Horizons embrace of possibilities as calm brings eyes wide. And tomorrow is today, and yesterday is love peace that found you where you needed it. Is this acceptance? Needed clarity? I still miss you. Storm cleansed as it always does, but I can hear the winds again as slight breeze and distance. Sun bathes mind as it lays down every day. Wind scuttles discarded leaves that fall piece by piece behind me. Letting go creates torrent of dead leaves blowing away. And I love them all. And I miss you all. As normal breathing resumes while I stare open-eyed into the blazing sun, searing away every piece of me. One step after another step with a tear in my eye, now with love for you and love for us all. I can hear it now again. A love supreme. It's beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna finish up with a long piece. I never get to read these on the open mics because it's just too darn long. And then I want to end it with a piece that's actually not mine. All right, this is called Consumer Nation. 1, consumption. Gray syndromes whose towers and concrete spires and rectangular bleak formation till and pockmarked foundation, supporting the structure of the great machine beast whose heart of fire turns us all in its great conveyor belt of uniformity. Desire the same, but the machine beast's belly is composed of unquenchable fire. And the clank of the machine that creates the product beat in uniform pattern, and you can lay your ear to the ground to hear the pulse. 9 to 5 and parts mailed in as businesses sell to businesses and sweat and dirt of grind knuckle plaza laid to the cashiers. The great conveyor belt that is the beast's tongue pulls us in line for what we must have. I once found my happiness in a bag and looked over the masses lined up waiting for the parcels. We all in unison bowed down on our knees to the metal work of dull landscape that lay in symbolic temples to the mass consumption and life cycles that lay in the waste of generations hinges on the axis of that great pounding heartbeat of the machine beast that you could hear when you lay your ear to the temple, the factory that pounds. To get, to salivate, to want, to buy. Oh, you must buy, consume. You must consume as your knees dig deep upon the structure that keeps it all afloat, that keeps the beast moving, that underlies our great motivation of desire and all burning consumption. Neon signs blinds the eye, and Pavlov says, you want now. Don't look down, don't look down. Look at what hinges next on the conveyor, and words will lay waste to those who clamor to provide to our insatiable thirst. Happiness is a stuffed pig waiting for slaughter. 2, discarded. Unwanted and no longer needed, the beast is disposed of its toys in mounds of forgotten shit that is piled high but out of sight of our direct eye. And we ignore. We ignore as we feed the shit to our forgotten elements, the understructure of the great walking beast who eats its own feces and leaves rotting, rusted testaments to our desire that has moved onward. Scraps strewn and eyesores as a necessary evil that will only be retaken by nature itself, as it retakes everything and decay becomes the prize for all things once precious. Entropy is the destiny of everything your eyesight can see, and anyone who says otherwise is a fool, even as he thumbs the ticket that lays open face in his hand waiting for the inevitable end. 1 for 1 odds and dusters are our ultimate destiny because the universe specializes in waste management. And one day we will all be nothing more than debris waiting with open arms to become one again with the thing that birthed us all, consumed. 3, aristocracy. Sitting atop the great machine beast, controlling the greed in the same way that we are controlled by it. We dull it out and we eat it. Great cities sitting in the center of all roads leading inward, and precious few sit high above, broadcasting the commercial drug that says we all want the beast wares, to help it move on, to help push history to its zenith, to help saturate ourselves. Sit on top of the throne, and from a long way down, you can't even see how the product falls off the conveyor. But we are the greed. We are the must-have. We are the thought. We are the message. We are the billboard that brainwashes, and we bound lives in servitude and bleed dreams. But if you buy it, the throne can grow a little higher on the product of useless crap that we all must have. We'll never ask, where did this come from? Because the damning answer might make us look outside the society box, and questioning leads to destruction of what was, when the knowledge says this doesn't have to be. And the thrones we sit upon are transparent when the only real judge of a man is the substance he is composed of. Because greed is shallow and the throne is only as paper thin as the substance it's built upon. Wouldn't you hate to never want again? 4, propaganda. Salivation rules my dreams and nighttime nightmares alike. It says, stay satiated. It's how it must be. It's how it always was. It's how it always should be. It's for the best. This is all for the best. Don't question and don't ask. We should never betray the almighty beast, because despite your possible personal misery, this is the moment history has led to. The divine utopian moment, and you should admire the billboard signs as you're riding the conveyor belt tongue waiting to be devoured. Pick and choose what you want. Ride the glue that holds the beast together as we sit happy and fat in our own swill. And we will chant, everything is fine. 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 Be proud to be part of the machine beast. Plug your head in as you ride the conveyor and listen to the dull hum that sends spittle down your cheeks, saying, we're the greatest. And while you're feeling happy and satisfied today, why don't you go out and buy one of our fine products? And would you kindly please turn your head as we sell the fine wares of the special interest who happen to tell you how the world works? If you're not questioning it, your opinion no longer matters as long as you are as happy as the last fool to be consumed. Help the structure. Help the beast keep walking and eating and shitting, and you'll be a happy and productive little fool. The beast is in collusion with itself. 5. Epitaph. The ending is here and has been since the start, because the great machine beast, our walking construction of greed and conveyor belt arms and a conveyor belt tongue with eyes and mouth of flames and all-consuming belly, has been gorging and growing fat on itself as plumes of toxic debris smoke billows skyward out of the top of the beast factory smokestack-laden head. We are the beast, and we will happily consume ourselves to have more. And the ending, I see the ending. Monumental collapse and sorrow replaced with self-loathing and pity. Tools to build a new grand beast. When history comes with its inevitable spare, I doubt your future, because this is what we want. To be docile and sit as fat stuffed pigs building dreams of orgasmic size. Wallow in your fucking filth. But I can't stop questioning, and I hope it's not just me. I know it's not just me. Ask questions inward and ask yourself what it is that composes your soul. What do you want out of happiness, and what do you expect to use to feed and fan those flames' nourishment higher? All roads lead inward, which is why karma is still harvested by anything you feel like sowing. A different viewpoint is sometimes all that's needed to wash away the mind fuck of deceit that lies its way into the fabrics of reality. Destroy the foundation and down with the beast. What's the point of anything if we can't strive to be better? So that's the last of my own poetry. I want to finish this up in tribute to a poet who couldn't make it today. So this isn't my own poem. It's just a short piece. This is by Navita Gunter, who couldn't make it today. So this is called You Don't Miss. You don't miss your water until the well runs dry. You don't miss tears until you can no longer cry. You don't miss a sunny day until rain clouds come in and chase the sun away. You don't miss good health until your health is gone. You don't miss your little babies until they grow up and go out in the world on their own. But don't be too sad for things that seem to have come and gone, for they will show again like a beautiful and well-loved song. Thank you all.
Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. That was brilliant. We want you to read the comments. There's so many good comments in there. It was vivid, well choreographed, well performed, all the things. Everyone, please unmute and say celebration to Noah.
Bravo, Noah. Bravo.
Bravo.
Well done.
Really fun.
Bravo, my friends.
Well,
Yeah.
truthfully, I look
Yeah,
forward
yeah.
to applauding you all. So, you know,
Go
this part,
ahead.
this part now is like my dessert, where I get to hear you all and hear your words. And there's some beautiful poets here today, and some that I'll be really honored to meet.
It's an honor to have you today, and I really appreciate you
Great.
featuring for us. I agree. Words don't even describe it. Meteoric.
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 Fabulous.
Maestro.
Took us on a ride.
Thank you so much, Noah. I can't, oh my gosh, that was just mesmerizing.
For the honor of having me, and thanks for running this, and thanks for having us all here.
Sure, thank you. Well, I know it's late in Greece. Alexandra, you want to go next?
Oh, yeah, yes, please. Can I share?
Yes, let me make sure that can work.
Some of us need to mute, I think.
Yes.
Hopefully, I mean, thankfully, no one in this room is like the beast that Noah was describing. Line 2. You can see the graphics, right? Okay, the flying is high. The flying is high. The flying is the highest. It lasts forever. Take me on the turquoise horse, over the hayfields, into the sun, forever. High mountains, flying right, no crash landing. Deep ravines, rivers flowing, eagles above. Taking me on the turquoise horse. Love, freedom, poetry. If you can accept the windings of my mind, if you can trust the reality of my fantasies, living in the strange wonders and genuine pleasures of this world and other worlds, living where fantasy and reality merge, following the intuition and the intuitions of the past, following the invisible and the visible, living by the sea under the olive tree, open and ready, it's all changing. Don't think hard of the ghosts of the past. Where energy is rewarded, where life gives it all. At 14 and 16, they prepared me for you, taking me on the turquoise horse, over the wild flowers, into the wind and fire, forever. The flying is high, the flying is high, the flying is the highest. It is absolute. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Alexandra. I appreciate your spiritual journey that you take us on every time. And I know it's late there, and I appreciate you being here. And next we have Tim Evans.
Hi, it's good to be here for the last one of 2022, and I've got 2, possibly 3. I'll see how the time goes. The first one I wrote actually back in 2018, which was actually 2 years before COVID came along. And it's called I Am Not Here. I am not here to entertain you. If you want entertainment, go to a goddamn circus. I am not here to make you laugh or tickle you with the absurdities of life. I am not here to brighten up your day. I am not here to distract you, patronize you, educate you, seduce you, sedate you, or lie to you. I am an irritant just below the surface of your mind. I am ideological sandpaper scrubbing the skin of your consciousness. I am a sickness, a virus, a pathogen undermining your finely balanced autoimmune system. I'm not a poet, you see. I'm a disease running through capitalism's bloodstream. And this is war unto death. Okay, that's the first one. And the second one is called Viral Overload. It's cold up here among the stars. You know those nights when there's a trail of electricity that you just can't break? Well, there were nights like that up on the east side of the city in dreams where I was rearranging my books or taking direction from the flight of birds. I couldn't find my way home. And there were no other possibilities except the ones you might chew over in random bedrooms, lies hooked on a doorknob, a pale blue waistcoat hanging on a chair, a cigarette burning in the ashtray. Last call for alcohol. The night is ready to close down. Unless you're one of the lucky ones, the beautiful people invited to the after party of life. Tickets are only a few years off your life. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Just hand over my heart, Father. It's been kidnapped long enough and I need it back. And suddenly I'm walking into a room full of strangers, a love song from the ghetto, a car crash of studied carelessness 3 miles out of town, and I glance at your face again over a half-empty bottle of wine as Cohen's The Future plays for the 3rd time. I am at the mercy of an old prescription, sealed and delivered in phased out downtown bars where I can find no trace of a human face. And on a good night, there's nothing to feel anyway, except the pain from the scars, because I'm coming down fast and there's no time. And in the dream, I'm driving down the same road as before. I've left something important behind. And I can't remember what it is. And I wake up, tears frozen on my cheeks, and I'm standing facing the house, and the stone flies through the air. I hear the sound of breaking glass. The window splits 3 ways. Fragments fall into the room and into the street. And in that moment, I disappear completely from her life. Drawing a line in broken glass that can't be made whole again, that can't be undone, that can't be mended. I am free free at last, under the light of a blackout moon, as the track marks of my life split wide open again along the fractures of time and bad faith. It's colder here than it was before. I'm living in a new world of existential rehab where connections.
Very logical and digital, mechanically accurate, beyond continental drift. Tectonic could have been a drink. Back then, an ocean's knowledge had still to be consumed before we could claim you as facts and not just a theory. Yeah, okay. And then I want to share with you a poem I've shared a couple of times, but I keep adding little bits to it this week on other beautiful open mics, and it's called The Grandmother Hypothesis. So why are humans as successful as we are? It's because of grandmothers. Is menopause a cause for commiseration or celebration? Menopause in mammals is rare. Humans share this state with whales and narwhals. I can only speak for me. So what is the purpose? How does infertility guarantee survival of the fittest? Maybe menopause is a resetting, an erasing of our childhood trauma. Maybe some good comes from brain fog. All the criticisms hidden from view. The freezing white numbness means I have to redefine me now, me here. So all the voices I've carried for years and years have all been buried. Finally, the funeral veil is drawn, all this heartache laid to rest. Maybe now I can be reborn. With my best humanity yet to be, I can be here for you, my grandchild, unconditionally. I have to say I don't have any grandchildren yet, but I've certainly got myself ready. I'm through the menopause now. So, you know, one small one as a final one. And this is again taking a sort of theme of a holistic theme about the world, and it's from the moon's perspective. So here's what the moon would say to us if it could. Moon's dew dripping tears, lunar lashes laced with salt, you cry a requiem for earth. From space, you can see the destruction. You know we will soon be twins, our home as barren as your face. You weep your way into my room. Please stop your consumption. Your greed is locust efficient. I wish I could pull you off course. Slow down, remove this curse. Look into my face. See the fate that's going to befall you all. Thank you.
Wow, those are so well done, so well crafted. You're a wonderful storyteller, and you have a PhD in biology, evolutionary biology. That's so cool. All the things.
I don't remember anything though, and that was years and years ago.
Oh, no worries. I love the tectonic plates as well. That was wonderful. Thank you. Joy Johnson.
Here I am. I'm here.
Yay.
So let me see if I can get the, no, that's not it. I kind of picked some weird little things that are sort of about, I don't know, being a self, I think, kind of. I'm going to start with one that's called Dress Down. Before I knew where I'd been and had claimed my nom de guerre, I saw the dressing holding 2 fingers alongside who had paid golden for guy on wrong side, exact as I had green light. Here where the management expects a talisman cut in form of mannequin, steadfast irk me. I think ubiquity of cash a worthy rule of thumb for gentility, else why its own Friday? Curse from the power over epitome. I am dressed down newly with acidity. We are swore, chest wound, truth uses a scree near where a ruler of the school sits, everyday bougie hostility. Then how about this one? It's called Myself. When I look back, it can be even a short time, even a day or a month. I often find I barely know the sleeping pervert I believe I was. My past is a coffin from which I arise with a brand new heart. This realization likewise makes me to goggle at the impenetrable reality, who the future me will be. The million suits I wore and inscrutable shall wear, though I'd rather forego some, see that I am not I, only a construct from moments of self-consciousness plucked. Let's see. This one is called Hang Fire. Wait up, she calls, and I do not know if I can sleep or if this seawall will be the end-all exhaustive defeat of me. I wait on her, minister to her needs, dream of Singapore where sailors' tattoos surface and where I think I want to be. A voice feebly posits I'm already living in the lobby between fire and flashpoint, and she is me and I love she. There, that's enough for to put you guys through today.
And brilliant, way brilliant. Thank you so much. Those were
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
As
you.
always. Thank you. Do we have Logan from Chattanooga, Tennessee? Okay. Mia Hansford.
Hey,
Hey.
thanks for having me. This is an amazing group. And it's so
Thank you.
good to see Noah show out. Wow. Noah's my partner in summer for the Sun poem.
Cool.
We do that together. I love it. We'll do it this summer. Hey, Noah?
Indeed, we didn't do this past summer, but the Sun poem, for those that don't know, is a thing we usually do at the New York Poetry Festival, myself and Mia, where we, because people at festivals tend to be there to hear themselves read, and then there are those that wish that they could take part. So we created just a table that's free for everybody to come in and just write anything or draw anything about the sun, and then we turned it into a large sculpture that we then kind of put on display, and it's free for everybody. And we've been doing that for the last couple of years. This last summer we weren't able to do it, but we'll be going back next year. And I can see a couple of faces here who also contributed to that last one we did. I know Rick and Kelly did. So sorry.
Check it out. It's on Instagram. We have a Instagram page where it's really crazy.
Can you put the link in the chat?
I'll do that, Noah. Will you do that?
Yeah, I'll take care of that. I'll do
Thank
tech
you.
support.
That's awesome. Sounds like a
Making
beautiful
the Legion
idea.
Poet work. I love it. All right. I'm gonna read two things from New York, one an old and one this is kind of a shaved down poem from this April when I was in New York, but I'm going to start with it and then I'll read another if there's time. Eldridge Street dumplings. Above a concrete floor, paintings loading time on time. I hear the crack of Sean's batter in a deserted lot, smell traffic, lean into Lois Saida's buildings as they might have been, surfaces thick with their standing, hearing, absorbing, anchoring life lived inside and around bricklayer points under street poster, the gluing up, the stripping away, families dwelling on top of each other, fresh paint over old, the tearing down and the relentless construction, sandblasting, and centuries of voices. Remembering and letting go. Stairs, street, deals, cars, arguments, opponents, lovers, kids gaming, and over it, the targets hum. Go on. Close one eye. 2. We leave Orchard Street's crowded gallery and head to Vanessa's. 2 young women point to inside seats at their table, gracious, and talking like they met us yesterday. Oh, you've been to the Whitney. I see your bag. Her lilt, her utter friendliness. The bold one returning home Tuesday, her poet friend staying back, both of them vibing all that's curious and unabashed. This water and the water in Chelsea. Now you to the train and me to Norfolk. Move over, I need some umbrella. We were eyeing the low right corner, up close to plane and stroke, punning, deciphering. 3. In certain hands, a flattened surface will bend time. Prescient and ancient questing. Head to the middle rooms, night driving, the road, its imagelessness, wet beside dry, water whirls seeping against oil. In slicks where blindness is sight, resting sight expands. Stand, remain in the dream. Subtle golds and violets, ultramarines and umbers move up into the night. Rhythms flash and burrow, instantaneous, the self's lightning, and it veils. Speed of darkness, now I know it, and step left, seeking more. Understanding that seeing again will not be as before. 4. This is all I'm going to read. I didn't realize how long it was. God. 4. The eye leads up to the ridge, and the moon is behind us. Hours ago, sunset acquiesced, and in an hour the light changed entirely. Now reflected light is everything. One long articulated line, flooding violet expanse meeting tree line. Infinitude edging blanketed form. To stand inside this night, its duality for a moment mine, vast, double-paned, here in the wild dark space of northern country, and inside my southern evening at 10 p.m. Ridge and sky, and the space close to us, that terrain, that body, walking to the ridge's wide, limitless opening. Thank you.
Wow, you just blew us all away. Wow.
Those are
so good.
Some paintings. I see your paintings behind you. And I see paintings. I see a lot of cool visual art in everybody's homes. And I'm house sitting in this fabulous kitchen, but my house is not so fabulous. But that's from getting to see this April, being in New York and getting to go see the paintings of a guy named Bill Jenkinson, who's older now, but he was one of my teachers like 100 years ago. And they were targets. They were great. But he's really fascinated with like ancient stuff, and you could feel it. Anyway, thanks for listening, you all. Those are in progress.
Those are all wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And your comments also, great comments.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. All right, now we have Richard Spisak.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be among such fine company. I have a couple of little pieces for you. Hopefully some you may find amusing. My first one is a tribute to a wonderful, powerful woman. Too many of us, myself included, complain that our Democrats don't take things seriously enough. This is about a lovely woman who takes things very serious. This is a tribute to Nancy Pelosi called, I'm going to punch him out, go to jail and be happy. Literally Nancy's words. Saith Nancy, I'm going to punch him out, go to jail and be happy. When he sends his mobs to play, don't worry anyway, he's sappy. I'm going to punch him out, go to jail and be happy. take that rascal to the shed, knock off his wig, taunt him good like any good citizen should, and put him in a bag burlappy. I'm going to punch him out, go to jail, and be happy. How dare he send a mob to attack and destroy our Congress using giant stacks of cash? If you ask me, that's pretty crappy. I'm going to punch him out, go to jail, and be happy. He better not show. I'll let him go. He can get Roger Stone to take him home. I'll kick him in the butt. He's just some kind of corrupting nut, just like his pappy. I'm going to punch him out, go to jail, and be happy. My very last congressional act, send that son of a bitch, that Moscow-loving hack, back to his threadbare serape. Okay, next I'm going to take you to outer space. 470 million miles, 470 million miles. Dimorphos and Didymus, quite a pair. We thought we'd strike them, but would settle for a spare. Didymus reconnaissance and asteroid camera for optical navigation, Draco, is all that it has. Its sole mission is to give that asteroids a forceful pushy bash, speeding at Dimorphos at 4 miles a second, a dart headed for its final destination. Kind of an AI-assisted arrival reservation. Not to land, but just to reckon. A very special kind of noisy check-in. Racing to a rendezvous just to knock it about, and then we're through, determined to shake and shout. A tiny defensive earthquake make 4 miles in a second makes quite an impact, or so it's reckoned, make no mistake. Dimorphos is the rendezvous, a tiny tap for mankind, a brutal slap, but maybe sublime. The journey through the deep distance mapped planetary defense at an asteroid shoved from its position relentlessly slapped. We're not opposed. We'd like to just keep our current rent, a special frugal kind of defense. But will it be measured just what service DART has made, or should we be nervous? The entire scheme, a kind of sci-fi dream to push about from this tiny spot a chunk of heaven from 1 to 11. Dimorphos has many similarities to other asteroids, and our rockets have visited except avoided, but spacecraft from Earth have gotten rather closest. Particularly, it resembles a special kind of rubble, rather indecently Moses. Can we maneuver a great space rock despite all destruction? Give it a shock. Even more damage the right wing can do when they mock from their ancient antique vantage. We'll see in the coming weeks when all the space telescopes send in their recent peaks. And that, the good news, my friends, is that it in fact had a good impact. And then last, for the season, this is a tribute to bats. Oh, those tiny flying fingers, how they linger. Over 13,000 species as they leaky streaky through the crystal quiet night. Though some might fear thee, I would appeal, see, continue as you please. Dine mightily, nightly on those hovering bugs that bite and sting and hug all those ones we do not love. Over 13,000 species global in your reachy, and so your tiny noble falling feces probably fell on Martin Luther's theses on a night so long, long ago. Agile flyers, no, not deniers. Darned wondering admirers, even the little birdies and all those feathered boys and girlies, they all admire thee, O thou king of flexing hex-wing flyers. Some of your kin, though tiny and thin, weigh less than a penny, though others, not many, have a webbed wingspan of 6 feet complete. The scientific name of your family is Chiroptera, which means, even to Frank Sinatra, in Latin hand wing, which gives you standing, albeit modest, demure, I'm thinking as you're landing. Yet so proudly she is, daintily this, you'll find no painted dainty fingernails on her, as she sails with stunning verve, a lot of flexy-nexy nerve. The only flying mammal, though we've sought and scrambled, you're unique and flighty all through the nighty, as you handle beyond compare, as you flicker, spiral your awesome flyer, flying, spying in the night's sweet air. You're clearly our friend, 'cause in the end, you hunt and then snatch for your lunch a well-matched, munching, insect-crunching, complete, oh, farewell, oh, thou bloody mosquito. Flit and furry decked out so merry, out for your evening's dining, dancing glory. Go forth, catch a smug bawa up in the air, they're on the wing. It's your thing. Scientists who study the darkling flying buddy say there's 2 sizes. They sum you up in their study. Microbats with tiny caps, flit and flying in the night, and megabats with tall steel caps. A topper is the whopper. A wingspan, I understand, a 1/10 of 60 feet. Pretty neat. Using echolocation while flitting and flying, there's no denying you're the master flare of air. And I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so very much.
That was delightful. Thank you. We love your sense of rhyme and your playful sense of rhyme. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Henry L. Jones. Hey.
I am sitting here nursing some on some Theraflu for my throat, but I'm going to share 3 poems.
Thank you.
My life, most of my life is in the water. So I have a lot of poems about water, and this is one. A day of dreaming. Dreaming of sand and waves rushing over my skin, glowing, warm sun, feeling alive. Looking into a clear sky, using my tired eyes, lost many seasons, counting days. Wanting to hide and seek, running to sacred spaces, looking for hope, stealing time. Loving with heart and soul, releasing many old fears, replacing the damage, emerging new. Clinging to feel alive again, wanting all your touches, inhaling this day, embracing you. Thank you. A friend of mine, you know how we have the whole virtual thing, she had to cancel one of the open mics because her sister had passed away. And I have a lot of death past. So I wrote this poem for her, and I've shared it with others that have, other women who've lost sisters. And I think if you've lost a sibling, it kind of connects. It's titled Our Moment in the Clouds. I remember when we laid in the grass watching clouds as they slowly raced across the sky while hearing our laughter bounce between the blades of grass and dandelions. Standing proudly between us, they seemed to laugh with us and soak the warmth shining down. We waited for the day to end. Days seemed to last forever, only timed by moments of games and joy we shared. Now you're gone, my sister. I sit in silence and just wait. Time lingers as I look vacant. Clouds pass above my head and become thick and heavy. The way my heart feels inside. Rain falls from the clusters, a soft drizzle, but I don't move. It helps camouflage my tears, falling and feeding my grief, but nothing grows but pain and sudden fits of anger. I try to wipe away the wetness. The sun emerges in a break of blue. I look up into the sky, soaked clouds part more. I stare through glassy eyes at 2 clouds. I swear between clumps of them, I see your peeking, smiling face, looking at me and smiling. I know those eyes anywhere. As you dance through cotton candy, world with long swirls of sweetness. When I see clouds, I remember. And it's like we're together again in the grass next to dandelions, who laugh with us in sunshine. We're together again in that field because my memories of you and our love will never die. And lastly, a shorty, thank you, for Halloween. This is titled, My Lover's Visit During a Full Moon. I heard you dancing, well, picture this, a woman dancing in a cemetery. Okay, give the visual. I heard you dancing under the full moon one night, your thumping feet loudly pounding dirt with delight. My ears enjoyed your souls, I no longer wanted to rest. Alluring beats awakened the sunken heart in my chest. Dry blood sought my dead flesh fluid before my end. Your scented legs tease me, this I just cannot pretend. I tried to raise these cold remains to your loving arms. Jerked meat and stale bones couldn't reach your charms. Lunar caresses stirred your dew, warmth blowing in the wind. You rode licks of grass by my headstone and climax in the end. You edge wetness filled the cracks, soil, so I'd be reborn. My grave below still dry and cold from the reaper's scorn. Demons torture me to bring long torment and many tears. They dangle relief for my sins, been doing this for years. Lustful fantasies fill my mind, replaying like lucid dreams of kissing your soft lips, then it fades, nothing as it seems. Phantoms tickle me with worms crawling inside my tomb. This confined part of hell is my box with very little room. Your visits bring me passion and hope one day for grace, longing again to make love to you, but in another place. Thank you very much.
Ending. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And your second poem, so tender, so beautiful, wonderful elegy. Thank you. Thank you. Now we have Jon Wesick.
Hi, so last August I hinted at an upcoming poetry collection, and it's here. It's called The Shaman in the Library, and I'll post a link after I read. Let's see, maybe read two from it. Theater of Space and Time. You appear on a stage of stopwatches and meter sticks only to have a drink thrown in your face. Tracy, how could you? A woman in a blue skirt drops her glass, buries her face in her hands and sobs. Harriet, you wipe the stinging liquid from your eyes and realize you don't know your lines. How you got here and what led to the woman's outburst remain mysteries. How do you know her name? You stall for time, watching all the while for some clue. This is the last time you'll make a fool out of me. Harriet removes a nickel-painted pistol from her purse and aims it at your face. The 9mm automatic is small enough to fit her tiny hand, but its barrel looms cavernous with doom. Is there some kind of script to follow, or should you ad lib? You turn to where the prompter should be seated, but your senses can no more pierce the realm beyond this stage of space and time than the twinkle of a firefly on an August night can penetrate the methane clouds that cloak Saturn's moons in permanent darkness. The playwright, director, theater owner, audience, entrances, and exits remain unknown. Only your death, imminent or remote, is certain. And this one's called Crime Wave. I don't know about murder hornets, but cockroaches loiter in my cupboards and drunken, disorderly geese honk to hip-hop music till dawn. But you know what they say. When Canada sends its waterfowl, they don't send their best. They send hooligans, delinquents, and scofflaws, smuggling maple syrup and back bacon in their beaks. Law enforcement is a joke. Cops look the other way when coyotes shoplift beef jerky from the 7-Eleven. They even let the black bear who broke into my kitchen off with a warning. Otters or longhorn beetles must be paying them off. When I discovered a blue jay was using my credit card number to buy 50-pound sacks of birdseed online, I didn't bother reporting it. I blame the media. With all the lewdness on those PBS nature documentaries, is it any wonder that gangs of white-tailed deer shake down business owners and woodchucks sell crack cocaine by Mrs. Blum's Scraptures Petunias? Hell, the only reason the feds locked up that bighorn sheep was for tax evasion. Thank God the murder hornets haven't made it here yet. The manslaughter spiders and assault and battery weevils are bad enough. Why, just last week there was a home invasion of carpenter ants, all with their little saws and hammers at the Dunderstead's place. I've taken to keeping my shotgun loaded and propped by the door. If any mallards, sparrows, or nuthatches want to mess with me or mine, I'll be ready. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Those were awesome. I really appreciate you. That second one was hilarious. Thank you. Is Jimmy James here? Anyone see him? Rhoda Thomas.
Hello.
Hello.
Lovely to be here. And it was great to hear Noah. Good. Yes, as has been mentioned, and there's a lot of many ups and downs in British politics. So I think this poem that I wrote actually about an organization I had worked for many years, and where I saw similar hijinks going on. This is called Rose Green Apples. Stepping among fallen apples, rose green on the grey concrete, light rain brushing my cheek, flattening my hair. The squish of tires on the wet road, one foot in front of the other. I can do this. I can buy fish at the fish stall, apples in the apple shop, bread from the bread shop, slide them into the carrier bag. I can hold my Visa card up to the card holder, blank out the details of my bank balance, order a flat white and wait while they fill someone else's cup. I can do this. For how much longer, I don't know. A westerly gust lifts the leaves as I cross at the zebra. They searched our house. I got people coming round for dinner on Tuesday. Oh well, everything can go back in the drawers. Wasn't that bad, really? As if I knew anything about it. But everyone knows. These streets where I used to want to bump into people, these streets where I used to walk hand in hand with my children, these streets before the apple trees flowered, they searched our house. Is my flat white coming? Do you have any newspapers? No, I don't want the local one. I don't want the local one. I never thought it would come to this. I never thought, not really. I'll have my hair done, some new highlights, or would lowlights be better? I must be ready for whenever the court case is announced. I helped build this life, pushed the kids farther than I wanted to, farther than they wanted to. Years of organizing your laundry, shirts of pale blue broadcloth, ticking striped pink, ivory twill, jacquard suits, cashmere scarves. For what? For this? They searched our house. You left us behind a long time ago, didn't you? Mr. Big Shot. None of it was ever enough, was it? And we weren't enough for you. Just part of what made you look good. And no one stopped you. I didn't stop you. Slippery slope, and they didn't stop you. World class indeed. And you certainly didn't stop yourself. You didn't think you were hurting us, did you? People in the abstract's one thing. But now they're searching our house. Let's have fish for supper and baked apples for afters. Let's be normal for as long as we can. So that's that one. And here's another one that, well, I think it's meant metaphorically rather than an injunction to action, but you never know. Do you know how to choose your side? In rounders, no one wanted me on their team. I couldn't catch or hit a ball or run very fast. But on the barricades, I'd be good at making the sandwiches. And when people get tired or despairing, I'm good at letting them just be with that. I don't gee them up. I know the value of rest. Only in the cocoon can we gather our strength and emerge to fight again. Do you know how to choose your side? In meetings, I wasn't allowed to take sides. They wanted me to let everyone say their piece, have an equal turn, 3 minutes each, or pass around the talking stick. But on the barricades, the time for talking has gone. Even if you think the other side may have a point, this isn't the time to listen. This is the time to choose your side and throw the bloody cocktail.
Thank you. That first story was so moving. We all were wrapped up in your story. It was wonderful. Thank you. Both were very good. Kelly Buchan. Did I say that correctly?
It's Buchan. That's quite a Scottish word, you know. But thank you so much. It's so lovely to be here. This is my first time here, and I must say it's such a lovely energy. I'm just honestly so pleased to be here. So thank you for having me, and thank you Noah as well. So I'm just going to read one piece for you guys tonight, and it's a piece that was published in a wee poetry anthology this year called Feathers Falling, and it's got the theme of surrealist poetry. And the poem is called Don't Ask the Moon. I wrote a song the other day and gave it to the moon in hopes she'd read it over and whisper me the tune. Oh, darling girl, she said to me, your words are out of sorts. I can't gift you a melody when your heart is bound in knots. I can give you moonlight and cosmic dreams galore, but your heart's desire can't come from me. Don't ask me anymore. I took my song just yesterday and gave it to the sun. With a yawning smile, he closed his eyes and sang a slow wee hum. My darling girl, he said to me, this isn't any use. Your heart has lost its beat, you see. It's had too much abuse. Music doesn't come from searching outside in the dark. Look within to find it. You should maybe ask your heart. So I took my song this morning and I tried to find my heart. It was engulfed in flames and clotted blood, like a dreadful piece of art. My darling girl, she sobbed at me, please tell me that we're done. How many times must you bleed me dry? This isn't any fun. I cleaned her up as best I could and showered her with praise. Her beat restarted readily, but her wistful eyes were glazed. Remember when we danced till dawn and sang of hope and grace? Why must it come to another end? I hate this awful place. So I lulled her into slumber and let her rest once more, and I asked the moon and sun to help her heal her open sores. And I took my selfish little song and burned it 'neath the moon. My broken heart can't catch its breath to whisper me the tune. And that's me for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was charming. And I love the personification of the sun and the moon. It was wonderfully done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now we have Chris Dickinson.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, lovely to be here. Lovely to be amongst you all.
Thank you.
So this is me musing in bed. I wake each day alert to my luck, warmed in the tuck of a duvet, newspaper to hand, prepare to brace myself for the scandals, the latest scams, leaders passing the buck, playing these shameless games of shuttlecock. Home news depresses, world talk tumbles my thinking. Our native injustices, the fate of local peoples in Canada, their children banished to boarding schools. Johnish, age 5, buried far from his home. He has company, though he lies alone. His family not warned in time. I blame arrogance for pain, lingering from the past, such lasting shame. We must persist, broadcast our human story, cherish the lost names. I'm greyed out, railing at lack of progress, taint of wealth, our nation's misgovernment, my guilt, independence on comfort. We had the fortune to anticipate a good deal for this young millennium. foolish of cultural heritage, first in Birmingham, then Tottenham, easy with church maxims, the school set texts. Was I lax to teach the lessons I knew, the white man's viewpoint from white men's texts? I learned to question regimented lines, the 20th century's greatest poets, diets of British males commanding rhymes, and hand-wrote stencils of boisterous verse, ink-smudged sheets rolled off a bander machine. Work was full on, I was paid on the nail. War did not disrupt routines, and consistent battles were made me adolescent. We gave our children more than we had, sent them innocent into this volatile world. Flares of sun throw heat beyond the church steeple, flowers blossom with bees, the grass gleams, chirping from the yew, our tribe of sparrows swoop to feed their brood from homegrown seed. Primed for heart rate, we meet the needs we can. Thank you. Ends in spring. Thank you.
Thank you. That was lovely. So well done. So well crafted. Thank you. Always good to see you. Now we have Katie Thompson. You here? Okay. Clive Oseman. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to do two, both written this week, actually, although the first one has been heard by some of you, but it's very topical and has a very limited shelf life, so I've just got to flog it to death until it dies. And the second one I actually wrote this morning, and nobody's heard is even me, and that second one is just typical me, so never mind. So the first one, there's already been a couple of references to the turmoil that's going on politically at the moment in the UK. And, you know, as you do, I had to write about it. This is the 6 o'clock news from the BBC with me, whoever I am. Good evening. Where to start? I've read the script. I think somebody has spiked my drink. I thought I knew who the Prime Minister was, and then I blinked. Or is it Blanc? I don't know. Am I drunk? Look, I know, all I know is this. You couldn't make it up. They inflicted Boris Johnson on us. He was selfish and corrupt and loyal to sex offenders and had cheeky lockdown workplace benders and lied to the Queen, which was obviously obscene, much more important than killing thousands through willful negligence, through self-centred arrogance. But he knew all about ancient Greece and got lenient treatment from the police, yet still became the first Prime Minister since the beginning of time to break the law and pay a fine. Then things got really weird. He resigned, but carried on. Well, sort of carried on. He disappeared and did fuck all until someone else finally got the call. Elected by no one except Tory twats, old fossils and fat cats. Fuck the electorate, worthless prats. And the choice was made. Liz Truss was on a mission to force common sense into submission. Kwasi was made the Chancellor, and by way of grateful thanks to her, gave the bankers their bonuses back, reduced the top rate of income tax, and crashed the pound into the ground. Interest rates rises were abound, and even the Tories knew we were fucked. Kwasi was sacked, Truss hidden away, and so began another day, a bloodless coup led by Jeremy Hunt, another corrupt and nasty, whatever rhymes with Hunt. And that was yesterday. I haven't checked the situation today. Maybe Fuzzy Bear is Prime Minister to counteract a Chancellor so sinister. Or maybe Chris Grayling has been revived and all his gaffes will be televised. We the people will have no say, but the idiots would vote Tory anyway. In other news, no one cares about Palestine. Old man Putin has crossed the line and we're all going to be nuked because People are strange. Oh well, no need to worry about climate change. So that's that one. Sorry, I have got a bit of a cough. Right. Okay, the second one is more typically me, I suppose. So I don't expect it to make any sense. I think the most annoying trait any person can have is to incessantly and often boastfully talk about themselves when others want to talk, especially when it's bullshit, of course. I think I first realised this when I was 15 and beat the top seed at the Wimbledon Boys Championship 1-6, 1-6, 7-6, 6-4, 7-5, after saving 17 match points. And the sore loser kept saying he would have beaten me had he not broken his leg in the third set. As I said to the Queen when she phoned to congratulate me, it brought it home to me how self-centred people are. She offered me an MBE there and then, but I told her to shove it up her arse. I've always been very proud of that, but I don't like to talk about it. And I don't think she did it either. I gave up tennis at 17 to concentrate on my role as Chief Security Advisor to the Prime Minister. I foiled several assassination attempts, some by aliens, but I don't like to talk about that either. But that's enough about me. What about you? Have you ever talked to anyone as interesting as me before? Actually, you look like one of those aliens who tried to replace Boris Johnson's Charlie with lethal space dust. Had I known then what I know now, I wouldn't have stopped you. What have you been doing today? I was in a charity boxing match against Mike Tyson, raising money to build a school to educate illiterate tigers. I let Tyson win to boost his self-esteem. Do you like tigers? They're amazing creatures. If only they could read and write. They'd write great novels, but no government includes them in the education setup. What are they scared of? That's what I say. Fucking hell, you're an ignorant shit. You've contributed nothing to this conversation. Nothing at all. Have you lost your voice? Or are you just a fucking dumb, ignorant, fucking bastard, fucking fucker? Ignorant wankers, make me swear, fucking shitty arseholes. I will self-destruct in 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh no, hang on, that's a different poem. I had a race against a giraffe yesterday. He beat me by a neck. Oh, that's a different poem too. Oh well, I think my batteries are left. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was so fun. Much appreciated. Just so clever at every turn. Thank you.
Out to the Brits. All you're going through.
Thank you.
Agata Palmer.
Hi, good evening. Gosh, so many poems. Thank you. So many wonderful poets. And thank you, Noah. Sorry, I was a bit late. How do I follow that? Maybe just to put it upside down. Because at the end of the day, it's also about self-preservation for me. So this little poem is called Silence. In our times, dominated by words, texts, emails, slogans, blogs, opinions, causes, allegations, investigations, I wish to sprinkle silence upon us. Wrap us up in its deep folds. Can you taste its vast landscapes? That's that little one, just to reset the central nervous system, maybe. And the last one dedicated to it was written for a friend who talked to me about his insomnia. And I know that some people here know that feeling. Sleep. The privilege of safety, an ultimate reprieve from all that otherwise could bother you, deep drifting into letting go. Your unconscious mind spinning dreams, the captain of your night crossings, like a dog fetching past events and mixing them up with symbols, toiling to unravel your knots. It offers you resolutions to all aspects of your life, served in frames of unremembered dreams. Thank you. This is with my dog snoring in the background. Thank you so much. This is from the my book, From the Land of Marmite with Love, by Gestalt Writers Inc. Thank
I
you.
love that. Please put the link in the chat if you can.
Oh,
That
thank
would be
you.
lovely. That was wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Richard Harries.
Hello. You've no doubt got used to me waving Awakening by Stairwell Books for the past year, but it's sold so well they've done me another one, and it's called Iconic Tattoo. And Awakening was their bestseller last year, which amazes me because they did a lot of books. And I have two wonderful poets, Kemlyn Tanbape and Finn Hall, raving about it on the back, so that's pretty good, isn't it? And the blurb says transformational, funny and emotional. So I've tried to go with that from the book. And I like singer-songwriters and folk music and things like that. And there's a very famous old English sort of 15th century song called the Oxford song, Oxford City. And it's a tragedy. And it's been rewritten many times in the centuries, and this is my version. You're very lucky I'm not going to try and sing it, but this is a modern update of a man and a woman. They lay there sated in the afterglow of farewell sex. He was desolate. He loved her and needed her. She was moving on. He'd asked her time and again to marry him, but she'd said no. This last time that they would be together was her farewell. It was killing him. He was desolate. She was going. This was unrequited love. To love like this and not be loved in return was dreadful, awful, heartbreaking. But I do love you, and it's been fun, and the sex was great, she had said. We've had fun. We need to move on. I love you, but when you're not there, I don't miss you. You are not the reason I live. You are not the one. That tore him apart, as she was the one for him, all he needed. A glass of wine before you go, my love. A farewell drink, and off you go. He smiled, and she agreed, thinking of tomorrow when she would pack and go to university for the rest of her life. They raised their glasses and drank a sweet final kiss. Then she stood up, felt dizzy and staggered. What have you done? She cried. He looked at her with love. Yes, I poisoned the wine. If I can't have you, no one will. She cried and lay there, and he lay there too. I've also drunk the wine. I will join you for eternity, and we will be together. And then they died. And I've heard it sung gruesomely at folk clubs for decades. And so I thought I would update it, and I'm going to completely change the mood. But oddly, the next poem is called A Sad Tale of Woe, but it isn't really. Well, we're getting a reaction from Mia anyway. I was so excited. I started as a sack, but now my life is blighted. Now everything's off track. They gave me arms and legs. They stuffed my sack with straw. They made my fingers with pegs. I was so proud, became a bore. I boasted of how fine I looked. My trousers seemed so grand. On my appearance I was hooked, but I stood not on rock but sand. For I was hoping to be a scarecrow, standing proud in a field. But my fate has been a real blow, and to my future I yield. I found out what that is, and it's not good, oh my. And please do laugh again, Mia, do. For sadly, I have found out, oh gee whiz, that my name is Guy. To be taken to a farmer's field and placed upon a pyre, that is my fate to which I yield, and to be set on fire. And in England, of course, it's the Guy Fawkes story is about a man who tried to blow up Parliament, which many people would be hoping he would do now. He was Guy Fawkes from York, and perhaps that doesn't translate too well over the Atlantic, I don't know, but it's been in a lot of films, hasn't it? Then just a very short one, we talked about, or Kate talked about being a mother and preparing to be a grandmother. 11 years ago, my granddaughter was born, and we had terrible snow, and we couldn't leave Withensea. We couldn't go and see her down south. So we had to Zoom her, you know, hold her in front of the television. That's not the same as hugging a grandchild. And we set off when the snow was gone. This is the result of that. I met a babe. I met a babe in a big old public house, cute with dark hair, quiet as a mouse. Did Eileen mind that I fell deeply in love? Not at all. The babe was as lovely as a dove. When I tell you her name is Lara Rose, with twinkling eyes and a sweet little nose, then you will agree that this abundant love is just a sort that poets speak so sweetly of. The overwhelming feeling of love so grand that grandparents have takes them to a new land, where all past problems and life's rich strife make you say, it's a wonderful life, and there's no feeling like having a grandchildren. Although I am so old now, I am 70, and I have lots of great nephews and nieces, and two of the lads are 20 and 21 and in love and living with their girlfriends. So I could be a great uncle. I'm not wishing it on them, but it is a possibility. So I'll put the link for that in the book, and there's a launch which Andy N. Poet is doing for me on the 28th of November. I shall be sticking the link for that everywhere too. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Just delightful and lovely rhyme. Wonderful stories, and I love your grandchild story as well. And this, I remember when the snow hit. I remember that from last year, I believe.
Yeah, well, they're 11 and 13 now, which is amazing because it seems like 3 months. You know,
Well,
but
maybe
there
I
again,
don't.
yes. At one point they thought it was so funky and great to be with Granny and Grandpa. And Izzy, the older one, used to look at me very seriously and say, "Grandpa, you're the funniest person in the family," by which I did hope she meant humorous as opposed to the strangest. But you never know.
Wonderful. Oh, great stories. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Now we have Bonnie Linton Solloway. Welcome.
Thank you. It's my
Thank you.
first time here. I see a few people that I've seen before. And yes, over here in America, we are having a fabulous time as well. So this is called Hello Fascism. Hello Fascism, surprised to see you today. How'd you cop that there green card to the US of A? Aren't you busy enough in the dank, chilly cold of lawless dictators' ethnocentric strongholds? After 2.5 centuries of freedoms secured, speech, press, and religion, personal rights marching forward, little by little, step by step, women's health rights annihilated. Are you part of all that? 10-year-old girls, some states guarantee, must now carry and birth a rape or incest progeny. Religion back in schools, some governments too. Show me where the Constitution says, what would God do? Ignoring the dark racist truths of our ways, forging fake history rewrites with banned books set ablaze. Fascism, truthful and eradicate, try as you will. You can twist, stretch, or arrest it. It'll always prevail. Like battling a mosquito and trying to sleep, swatting at air, truth will still bite you deep. Truth can be tortured, strangled, or shot. A note to all fascists. You can't kill off thoughts. So how long you staying? Don't mean to offend. Does that green card expire? Just asking for friends. Friends who see clearly your footholds of fear. Friends who know freedom may not persevere. Friends clawing and fighting to have equal rights. What's that? Can you crash at my place tonight? Why, fascism, you flirting with a nice Jewish girl? Oh, zip that thing up, your ulterior motives are unfurled. You're macho and powerful, charismatic to boot, but the ways of your past are darn hard to refute. Dare I swipe right, make it a date, host meet and greets, whatever it takes for every damn person to understand why, if fascism stays, democracy dies. Fascism, oh fascism, I just can't oblige. Your housing request is being denied. Hop in though, I'll take you right back to your gate before that there green card expires its date. Follow me on Twitter, you'll hear many a voice. Democracy's not perfect, but it's freedom's only true choice. Fascism, tell me why strong men hate freedom so much. Why do you perpetrate fear with a killer's cruel touch? And manufacture scapegoats to further your plans. Oh wait, I see now, it's your tiny small hands. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very powerful. And I love your rhymes as well. Very well done. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Now, if I say it right, Eike Waltz.
That's right.
Yay. Welcome.
Well, we started by talking about the English school system, Post, etc. A long time ago, I went to the Royal College of Art as a bloody foreigner who did not have to pay a penny. My professor, Sir Misha Black, simply wanted me. Thank you for my masters. At that time, I was fascinated by the Scottish ballad, that seemingly endless flow of drama, intertwined with obscure reality and surrealism, where the soft darkness in the underside of our soul mixes so freely with the cold darkness of a rainy October night. The Bald Raven, a postmodern ballad obscure. Son, what have we done to you? We gave you life, a crown, an orb, and a scepter. Why don't you talk to me? Son, what have we done to you? You took the regalia, I became the bold raven, and I gave my life for you. To forgive, a word so hollow, to forget, a life of sorrow. Why don't you talk to me? Eyes and ears say no. Why don't you talk to me? I don't bother God, but somebody needs to open up to me. There is a bold raven high on a utility pole, somewhere inside the darkness of light. What do I see? Nothing. What do I hear? The raven in me responding. Son, I say, I can hear you. Son, I say, I am near you. Son, I say, it took a long time to see you. It took a long time to be near you. Your call was coming like a song. A short day, a long night. A dead raven suffers in its fluffy feather bed, wilting alone. I drown in laughter, I drown in sadness. I am divided about reality. I'm split about the little time we had, and all that through the middle of my head. It's like a long winter night. Darkness surrounds my soul. Candlelight enlightenment on the mend. I hide myself in a bundle of despair. Yes, I was there, always for you. The bold raven demands, I want the one eye of you. I want a little life of you, so that the other eye can see what I eat of you. It's time to follow me. It's time to swallow you and tar your mind with these black feathers, the remaining shine of my dwindling past. Take my bold point of view. Watch me suffer to become the all of you. Conveniently, now I caught up with me, so I like you to rip that other eye and let you feel the last joy I have eating something of me. Giving birth, the right I never knew. The raven pecked and pecked. That one eye he swallowed. My point of view now undivided. A rush of love I feel for you. But I kept insanity, freedom next to be. The bold raven calls for me. He is waiting, and time is not forever free to stare into my hollow mind through that blooded hole. But we cannot forget anything and all. Now he flashes that surgical knife that cut into my white man's breast and served me a turkey delight. And you, and whoever else wishes, the day would come to shut me up. Little pieces you can chew from that perfect Irish stew. In the shadow of my alone, the raven pecks my ancient bones. Let me shred your last dream. How homesick have I been? When my drained heart will say, immigrant, let's dance. For the last time, let our Milky Way shine and advance. The bold raven has spoken. Not too soon, not too soon. The bold raven hides in a glistening garden, hanging from a toothless summer tree with no life, lifeless. And he keeps screaming nothing that I can understand, but he repeats repeatedly, son, please talk to me. The grim reaper delivered pretty flowers to me. Thank you.
Wow, I'm out of words. It was such a wonderful, surreal journey. And the raven, you'd be at a peaceful place and the raven's back. It was wonderful. Thank you so much. And I love the ending as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Eike.
Ian McKenzie.
Hi, thank you. I think it's my first time here.
It
But,
is.
yeah,
Welcome.
yeah. As soon as I'm at home, there, I can see so many familiar faces and voices there. We do get about, don't we? So this first one is, I started writing a series of poems under the sort of general heading of the Toad Diaries. It's kind of allegorical in a way. So this is the recent one. It's called Toad's 113th Dream, because I'd written another poem called Toad's Dream. So I thought I'd have to call this one Toad Has Another Dream, which sounds a little bit pedestrian. So I thought I'd take a leaf out of Bob Dylan's book and give it a random number. So it's Toad's 113th Dream. From the hidden depths of secret forests, replete with ancient Germanic lore, Toad slumbers within the dark hollows of interminable dreams. Those sleepy basilisk eyes tremble with remembered legends of murmuring rocks as tragic sirens whisper and sing mockingly into those hibernating ears, of aspirations shipwrecked on the shores of feckless intentions, as vain beauty cries, the wind, oh, das himmlisch Kind, where have you gone, disappeared with autumn mists, driven out by winter's hard reckoning, and age's egg begins to settle in. Where are your grand schemes harbored now, dashed to pieces, foundering in rough and darkened seas, seeking a sheltered anchorage, following a trail of crumbs that dissolved and sank on contact with reality, dead and buried with those fantasies of a land of cocaine, where the living's easy and where you can be king of all that you survey while you remain there sleeping. And as Toad's eyes begin to flutter into wakefulness once again, the flicker of pensioned off ambitions reappear with fresh vigor as Toad, oblivious to past failures, now looks to new conquests, still eagerly waiting to be crowned with his own imagined glittering diadem. Yes, and let you work out who Toad might be referring to. Several candidates. The second one is called 42. And now it's not the answer to the meaning of the universe. It's the average number of litres of water in a human. So 42, the average number of litres of water that holds together a human soul, an intercellular flow to keep a body healthy and alive. Without it, we'd just be a dried up piece of parchment, as dead as the Dead Sea Scrolls, a crumbling mess of flaky skin, more fragile than the gossamer wings of an ephemeral butterfly. If you prick us, do we not bleed? 3.2 litres to be precise, red-tinted aqua vita, too vital a commodity to be given away lightly. Just 1 litre of that crimson fluid would be a fatal breach, enough to ruin a man's appetite. To my mind, then, dependent on a ready supply of interstitial fluids to function in a more or less rational state, water conservation is nothing less than the perpetuation of a divine state of grace. And finally, it's a fairly short one. On a lighter note, it's a recent poem called Smile. And I kind of subtitled it A Friday Poem. I don't know why, because it was a Friday when I wrote it, but I think Fridays always make people smile. I think, isn't it a TGI Friday or Thank Fuck It's Friday? I think is the other sort of abbreviation. So eyes look nicer when they're smiling, and even kinder still. In special cases, even more beautiful. Like an invitation, a hospitable refuge drawing even strangers in, attracted by the treasures that lie within. Take care of your inner thoughts, treat them well, as if they were written on your face, as anyone can see who can read the runes shaped by the lines that form contours across the bare palimpsest that is white clear each time you smile. Thanks, that's me.
Wow, 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 wow. That was so good. Thank you so much. So well crafted. So well crafted. Thank you. Thank you. Anjetta Williams, are you with us? I don't think she's still with us. Okay. Well, is it okay if I read one?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. We have your choice. My favorite rainbow or our best example. The first one? Okay.
Best example, best example.
Oh, best example. Okay, I'll go back to that one. Okay, this is newer. The way the beach used to be at dawn before everyone got there. Isolated, pristine sands and waves, indescribably delicate and fierce shell forms cast off by unknown sea creatures. Silence has sound, water has taste. She was never seen again. We choose not to live in fear. So much death, we live in bits of joy and light. So many close races between Democrats and election-denying liars, pretenders, the world on the edge in less than a month, the world on fire. Okay. The world gives what you put into it. Shred the negatives. It can be fixed in post. Nurture oneness and be happier than what you expected. Yellow was my favorite color before I became a bruise. Sunlight only hurt worse. My first grade yellow dress beamed like me with potential. By second grade, I was lost in shades of green. In the sunroom now, it's okay to feel the light, to enjoy bright, sunny yellow furniture. Doesn't make sense to the darkness in me, but cheerful nonetheless. Warp and weft every breath, just the sight of Jupiter, the military helicopter thumps our street like a heartbeat. You lived a nightmare, now you're here, trying to be present tense. Picasso sandwich, ephemera disappear like smoke in the sky. We went from love and trust to naught. Seems it only took moments for betrayal, normalized. The autumn leaves say, I was another color the whole time, then let themselves go without for another spring. Bare bones reach for the sky, the sun, our best example. Thank you.
Read another, Amy. Read another.
Okay, I have another one. Thank you. My favorite rainbow. You're the best rainbow I know. Find the stillness between raindrops and thoughts. I'm resting. I cover my mouth on guard, protecting my face from further harm instinctively. I absorb the day, the night, an emotional sponge taking a break from the news. Edgar Allan Poe said it's okay to be dark when we read him back in school. The gray moth came inside to die on the soft curtain cloth. Rainy days of the soul. The sun shines, but I can't feel it. My grief outlasts the rays of the sun. I can't help the ghosts who needed a place to hide forever. Children who need a voice now tell me why. My mother haunts every movie I dream about. Halloween makes the darkness brighter for a short while. It's okay to be spooky for real. On the Day of the Dead, we visit the graves and light candles, leave flowers and food. We paint the skeleton black and bright colors. For some people, the grief is year long. Less than zero is the way it feels when I'm in the pit. I fall into it when I make a mistake. Some parts of me despairingly live there. My spirit and my soul are distant from each other. Spirit does things, gets things done. The ones in the pit are too depressed to move. They sleep. It's hard to be out when so much is down. I tell the dark sisters, don't stay in the dumps. They say, this is where we live. Can you live more with your head up then? It's a beautiful day. It goes on like that each day. I like my dream world more now. The fountain challenges and inspires me. Grapes of wrath in your temples. Aloe vera for the burning of the mind. Lavender mint tea from the garden to brighten the soul. Smoothing sawdust off the couch from your thorough sanding. Layers of music, perception, association, lenses that make sense of the world. Everything is an altar, a dedication, labor of love. Lush, complex strings I can't see when I'm awake, threading fingers through dream trees like a sylph. Evil can only fall away next to starlight, fireflies. Thank you.
Hey, Amy, this is Angie. I'm here. I couldn't unmute.
Oh, good. That's. If you have time, do you have time?
Yeah, I got two shorties.
Okay, good. Let's go.
They were written based on a prompt I did in a seminar. The first one is Honey Covered Street. Honey Covered Street, long and sweet, a place for us to meet. Friends to lovers on the long honey covered street. The street we had fun on, the street we made Robert on, that amazing long honey covered street. We will always remember, we will always go back. We will always keep the love burning on the honey covered street. And the next one is a shorty too. It's the legacy I leave. Not so long ago, in a not so far away place, I started a journey, a long journey, on a hilly, crooked, narrow, rocky road called life. The rain has been cold, the sun has been hot. My journey has been hard and long, but life's a story with so many lines and words. It's the start of a legacy. I'm leaving footprints behind me so others can follow. Footprints with stories of old. Footprints with knowledge and wisdom. Footprints with direction to salvation. The legacy I leave is full of love and joy. The legacy I leave is full of hope. The legacy I leave will be for a generation with the knowledge of the old, navigating through the new. And yes, I have 6 grandkids from ages 5 to 18.
That was so joyful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Angie. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad that we found you at the end.
I couldn't unmute.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, did anyone else want to go while we had a little bit of time? It's getting really late for some of you, I know. We good? Okay. It's so good to see everybody. So good to see everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, everyone. That was just a wonderful session. I'm really happy we were together today. I appreciate your time.
Making it possible.
Oh,
Thank you, Amy, for setting it up.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Yes, thank you, Amy. Appreciate it. You have a great weekend.
You too, you too. Thank you. See you in January.
Thank you, Amy. It's nice
That's
to meet
right.
you and everyone else. It was great.
Hope to see you back.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Noah.
Thank you, Noah, too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Ah.
Thank you all. You're all brilliant.
I agree. I agree.
You're generous.
Thank you.
And sincere.
Everybody have a happy holiday.
Yes,
Thank
happy
you.
holidays.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.